Aren't you lucky, sucker?
This is like the craziest argument ever.
I think you are a little bit crazy. I think you are.
Check out this interesting debate between Cliff and a devout believer in naturalism. He called Cliff's argument crazy, but is it really? I hope you enjoy it.
Say someone follows a different religion that they were taught and that they believe to be true.
Yeah.
You think God will judge them in a way like I presume that if they were exposed to Christianity, you would say they would go to hell. But what if they believe just as much as you that their religion is true?
Good.
Or what if an atheist believes that they're right?
This pink elephant, you know the one right here? This pink elephant gives my life meaning, purpose, and direction. This pink elephant is awesome.
I'd say your pink elephant is the same thing as you saying that God exists. So like
Good.
what? So what? Like what? How come you get to decide that your God is the correct God?
Okay, I don't decide that my God is the correct God. The question is the evidence supporting the pink elephant that's right here?
No.
Thank you. No. Does the evidence support some type of a God existing?
No.
No?
I'd say no one can actually know if God. I'd say I'm agnostic because I don't believe anyone could actually know that God exists.
I think it's impossible to live an agnostic life because you have to make ethical decisions every day, and the ethical decisions you make tattle what you really believe. You have to make a decision every day. Are people valuable or are they trash? The decision you make shows what you really believe about reality. You have to make a decision every day. That guy in that casket or in that urn, is there life after death or not? You have no decision, no option. You have to decide. So you see, sir, the decisions that you make tattle what you really believe. So please don't tell me you're agnostic.
I'm still agnostic. Like that doesn't show that. I'm saying that I believe that no one can believe that no one can truly know if their God is correct or not. Like I don't believe that you can truly be 100% sure.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure that I'm not a bad dream you're having right now.
Yeah.
Okay? All right, so we agree on that.
Yes.
I can't prove anything 100%.
Correct.
But guess what? As a thinking human being, I don't base my life on proof. I base my life on evidence. The evidence is that his face starts right there. That's why my fist stops here. Not because I can prove to you 100% that he's right here. Maybe my eyesight's lying to me.
But they're like, yeah, that's true. But we tend to just go off the presupposition that our senses like work. But
No, I don't go off a presupposition that my senses work. I experience this.
that's a sense.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'm not presupposing that my senses tell me the truth. I'm experiencing this. And I know very well that if I smack him, there's going to be contact. Why? Because the evidence of my experience tells me that's true. Because I've been hit and didn't feel good. So the evidence is that, yes, my senses perceive reality. That's why I trust my senses.
Well, there.
You know what's funny is that the student claims to be an agnostic, yet he's speaking that he's 100% sure as well. How could you 100% know that you can't know if God exists or not?
But that's a circular position. So you trust your senses
Because no, I experience my senses putting me in touch with reality. That's why I trust my senses.
So you have no presuppositions, like.
Yes, I have presuppositions, but I can promise you, as a thinking person, I'm going to question those presuppositions and I'm going to ask why. Why have I embraced those presuppositions? And the reason that I have embraced the presupposition that my senses perceive reality is because I experience contact, touch, and I talk with him and we find out yes. Now, why do you trust your reason?
My point is reason is a presupposition. Like there is nothing to base it off of, but we act as if it exists. Same thing with your senses. When you're saying that you touch him and you believe that you're touching him, in general, science would say that you could theoretically put your hand and one in like hundreds of billions of times it would go through him. That's the thing that's said in science. Do you disagree with that?
I sure do.
So you disagree? So you disagree with science?
Yeah, walk through the tree. Please,
Well,
go right ahead. Walk through the tree.
It's unlikely because the particles are moving, but in general,
Yeah, the particles are moving, and your particles are moving. So why can't you walk through the tree?
Well, theoretically you could. In
Theoretically.
just
Baloney. I can't base my life on theoretical.
Crazy doesn't mean that in science it can't theoretically happen. I know it sounds crazy, but
Thank you. It sure does sound crazy.
in science that does happen.
Oh, no, it does not happen. I have never watched a man or a woman walk through a tree.
I've never watched someone be resurrected.
Good.
Not the same.
But guess what? You do know that existence is real, that life is real. And so now you've got to ask yourself the question, is it more reasonable to believe that life comes from non-life, that existence is produced by non-existence, or is it more reasonable to believe that life comes from life and that existence comes from a creator? What's more plausible? Not what you can prove. I know you can't prove anything, neither can I. But what is more plausible? What is more reasonable in light of the evidence?
Yeah.
That's what you got to ask. And don't give me this garbage that, oh no, science has to prove something in order for me to believe it. Science has nothing to say about love. It has nothing to say about meaning in life. It has nothing to say about life after death. Nothing. Because science deals with what you can observe, what you can quantify. And you can't observe and quantify love, meaning, and whether there's life after death or not. It's far more reasonable to believe that morals come not from matter, but that morals come from a personal being who defines what's right and wrong. It's far more reasonable to believe that life comes from life. It is not reasonable for any of you guys to believe life comes from non-life. Oh, that's a miracle, guys. The only problem is you guys don't have a miracle worker. There's no God for you.
Hold on.
No, don't hold on. Think. Think hard. Think accurately. Life does not come from non-life. Never. Can you show me life coming from non-life? And yet you guys believe in a miracle.
No.
Life comes from non-life at the
We
inception.
believe in low probability things.
Oh,
sometimes
baloney.
happen.
Low probability
Baloney.
did not make him.
Yes, it did.
No, it did
You're
not.
actually- that's 100% what happened.
No. He has a mom and a dad. He has a mom and a dad. He doesn't have low probability made you, buddy. Aren't you lucky, a sucker?
This is like the craziest argument ever.
I think you are a little bit
Genetics-
crazy. I
genetics-
think you are.
Think about this. Genetics, right?
Yeah, genetics.
Yeah. What is the probability of his exact genetic code happening? 100%?
Sir, you're making a classic mistake of the observation of different sperm and different eggs. Gosh, what's the probability? That doesn't create anything. That's a statistical fact, okay?
Statistical.
But that doesn't create him. What creates him is a mom and a dad, two living beings creating him. You don't get life from a statistic. And by the way, you don't win the lottery because of a statistic. You win the lottery by buying a ticket. And that's my whole point. Science is a wonderful description of reality. But I can promise you, science doesn't create. Science describes creation. It describes life. Bravo. But you can't say science made this guy. No, science didn't make him.
You know what really caught my attention in this exchange was how the student tried to flip Cliffe's argument back on him. But here's the problem. He completely mixed up two entirely different categories when he responded to Cliffe, "I've never seen anyone resurrect before." When Cliffe challenged the idea of basing life on extreme theoretical possibilities, he told the student to walk through a tree. And you could see the hesitation. The student knew it wasn't actually possible, no matter what quantum physics might say about 1 in a trillion odds. But instead of acknowledging that he was wrong, he tried to counter Cliffe by saying, well, I've never seen someone resurrect from the dead. At first, that might sound like a clever comeback, but it's actually a huge logical mistake. Walking through a tree falls under scientific probabilities. It's a theoretical, materialistic phenomenon based on a random chance. The resurrection of Jesus, on the other hand, is a historical claim. It's not something that's supposed to happen under natural conditions. It's an intentional act of God. The two are not the same. So, if the student wants to argue against the resurrection, he first has to argue against the existence of God. Because if God exists, then miracles aren't just possible, they're expected. And that's the real issue here. He's acting as if the resurrection is just another rare, random event like quantum tunneling, when in reality, it's a unique event with historical backing, eyewitness testimony, early creeds, and the radical transformation of the disciples. So when he says, I've never seen a resurrection before, he's actually proving nothing. No one is claiming that people rise from the dead naturally. But if God raised Jesus, it's the most important event in history. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And as always, keep seeking truth, standing firm in faith, and living for the one who is truth himself. See you in the next one.